Yeah. This is the Legacy League. Tell me where will your legacy be? Yeah.
All right, week 3 is wrapped up. We've seen some, movement in the power rankings. Exciting stuff to talk about this week and more. I'm joined by DJ, my boy Jack. Shout out our sponsor as always, 110 Grill. We love you. We'll get right into it. Cut straight to the chase. We're gonna go right to Run It Up versus the Reapers. All right, Run It Up took this one 68-55. Some would say an upset. I know. DJ and I were talking. DJ was a little surprised at this outcome. Tack Gomes led the way for Run It Up, 28 points. I believe. Let's see. Yeah, he had 3 steals as well. Sean Yard followed suit with 15 points, 6 rebounds. And then the rest of the squad was just putting up 6, 8, doing what they had to do to get that win. For the Reapers, they only had 4 guys. Whether that's a problem or not, we'll talk about it. Yala Smith, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, kind of doing what he can. Isaiah Lane, 16 points, 13 rebounds. Kevin Views, 15 points. Also had 9 turnovers. Whether that was a reason for their downfall, we'll talk about it. Jack, I'll go straight to you. I won't keep talking. I won't spoil it. So you go right into this. Give us the Reapers' downfall here. They have, I think, have only ever lost 1 regular season game. So this is their 2nd ever loss in the regular season. What led to it, really?
Yeah, well, you mentioned it with the turnovers. Obviously, Kevin Views had 9, but the team as a whole had 19 to Run It Up's 8. And I was looking at the field goal percentage. Reapers actually shot 50% to Run It Up's 47, so they just had a lot less shots due to those turnovers, and I think that's the biggest story. I was shocked as well to see the Reapers lose. I had them as my championship pick. Still think they have a chance, but Run It Up with a big win.
No, definitely a big win. I mean, they lost to A1 last week, shooting 60%. And this week they won shooting 47%. So it's a crazy turnaround, but that's what happens in this league. When a team is shooting well from 3, that's kind of how it goes. Tack Gomes has kind of been leading Run It Up. Last season it was all Sean Yard. It was Sean Yard, Casey Key. But, Tack Gomes has taken this lead when it comes to the scoring end of this, and Sean Yard's kind of, facilitating here and there. But Tack Gomes is looking like the guy for Run It Up. But it's a little quiet start for Sean Yard. We haven't really seen before because we were so focused on him almost being MVP last season. He was up there. So, yeah, like you said, 19 turnovers definitely cannot be happening. I mean, 19 turnovers, a 13-point game, you would expect it to be a lot bigger with almost 20 turnovers. So, yeah. DJ, kind of give praise to Run It Up. Talk about how their game works, what they do well, and then if you want to talk about, actually no, I'll go into that after. So yeah, talk about Run It Up.
Yeah, Tack Gomes just absolutely just on fire. Just 80% from the field, 80% from 3. That's really like, in a league like this, if you got some guy just going off on you, you're going to have to figure out a way to contain it. And Tack Gomes just couldn't be contained that game. So that was really just the downfall of the Reapers. Like you said, they only had 4 guys. So I can see some fatigue in that, but you really just got to start containing these like top guys. That's the key to the victory here, I think.
No, yeah, Reaper's known for their defense, but when fatigue hits, everything kind of starts to fall apart. But in, championship games, you kind of want to have like a 4 solid guys you want to lock into. Like I know A1's gonna rock with 4 guys if they have to, and they're all gonna stay and play 100% the whole time. That's what happens with that team. When you got 4 really good guys and you don't really want to, not, I would say like lean on your bench as much. It's more or less just leaning on those big guys to like, shine when the lights are brightest in those big games, playoff games. You're going to probably see less and less of your bench. I mean, even with like NBA, we see teams that only run like 2 guys off the bench, especially the Knicks that kind of made it far in the playoffs. They rarely played an entire bench, and they play a much longer game and more physical game than we do it here at Legacy League. So if fatigue's going to be a problem for them, whether that puts their playoff run in jeopardy, is yet to be determined. We'll have to see how the rest of the season plays out and how they face off against other teams. But a loss to run it up is definitely something to look at on both ends. I think run it up is definitely a serious contender. We'll see in the power rankings how we think about them. But yeah, Reapers take this first loss that we're talking about here. We'll move on to our second game. We'll go right into Team ASAP versus B2A. And Team ASAP off to a great start this season, 3-0. Shaq Audrey led the way tonight, but I swear every game is going to be a new guy. Everyone on this team can score. Shaq Audrey, 23 points, 7 rebounds. He shot 6 for 10 from 3. Noah James, 21 points, and then the rest of the crew just doing what they do, scoring as well. For B2A, I want to give a quick shout out. Daraj Vance, I believe, ruptured his Achilles in this game, so he's going to be done for the season. Reigning Defensive Player of the Year. Huge loss for B2A, huge loss for the league. My favorite guy to watch out there. He plays 100% every time. He's jumping at every dunk. He one of the best defenders I've seen in this league, and I've been following it for at least 4 or 5 years, so that's saying something. And I believe actually today is his birthday while we're recording this. So happy birthday to Raj. Well wishes from everyone in the Legacy Leagues. Hope you get better. Speedy recovery. That being said, Shai Hicks, 18 points. Amade Reaver, 17 points. Gio Neville, 16 points. Spreading the wealth on B2A. I think they only had 6 guys, so they were running a short little quick sitting, running off the bench. Quick rotations. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So losing Daraj is probably the hardest thing for B2A to overcome this season, but they're gonna have to do it. So Jack, kind of talk about losing such a defensive weapon like Daraj. Defensive Player of the Year. We're saying there's no one like him in the league. So what does that look like for them coming up?
Yeah, it's a real shame, real heartbreaker to watch the other night. He's obviously such a presence, not only on defense but on offense as well. He gets around like 3 or 4 blocks. I feel like every time I watch him. So just a real shame. He's a team player. We hope he can get a speedy recovery, come back next season and be good. But B2A still got a lot to be excited about. They shot the three ball pretty well. Shai Hicks, 18 points. Amandi Weaver had 17 points and shot 57% from 3. So there's a lot to be excited about, but Daraj is definitely a big loss.
No, yeah, definitely. There's a lot to be happy with, honestly, this game. This is ASAP's closest game. It's, 15-point game. ASAP kind of looked unstoppable going into this game, and, B2A stuck with him for a while. So that's definitely something to look at. Not everyone is, or at least this team that we see as like a super team, everyone can score. There's only 4 guys that can play at once. So whether you got 9 really good guys or 4 really good guys, it's not going to matter because there's only 4 of you at a time. And we were talking about the Reapers, how maybe only 4 will play a game when you got 4 guys that are really locked in. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on when you got a close game that maybe was less expected because B2A wasn't at a full roster. They didn't have Cabrera, who's their point guard that's leading their way. They didn't really have a guy out there that plays like Cabrera. Cabrera is really their only smaller guard that kind of pushes the team's pace. Yeah, ASAP shooting 50% from 3 is crazy. They had 17 made threes. Everyone on that team can shoot. And when Shaq gets hot, he went 6 for 10 today. When Shaq goes hot, he's one of the best shooters in the league. DJ, talk about the strengths of Team ASAP and how that's gonna, move further down into the season. Who's gonna step up when and where? What are they gonna do? Any given night you could see one of these guys doing good, but kind of talk about what are their strengths or weakness if you see one. I don't see one, but you let me know.
Yeah, like you said, I think their whole game is the 3 ball. Like they started off a little bit slow, but once those threes started to sink, they just took off. I think that a team ASAP that's hitting their threes, having a good night, I don't think any team in the league is going to beat that. You see, like Shaq, Once he's hot, he keeps going. Noah James, when he's hot, he keeps going. Everyone on this team is a good shooter, like you said. I think if they're on their A game, no one's going to beat them.
No, yeah, and these guys are also experienced too. I don't think a single one of them is their first season, let alone maybe even their second. I think they've been playing for a while. A lot of them been playing together. I know a lot of these guys play together in Rhode Island too. So there's a lot of experience here. It's easily one of the top teams to look at here in this Massachusetts season. Yeah, just that three ball, man. They were taking threes from just past the logo, or just past half court, and it made it look easy out there. So, um, yeah, shout out Daraj before we move on with this game. Get better soon, dude. We really hope you're getting speedy recovery there. We'll move on to our third game, A1 versus the Squad. All right. A1 took this one. Let's see, 93-76. Hendel led the way for A1, 37 points. He had 6 steals as well. Darwin led us, second most points, 27, doing everything out there. In the squad, Jay Sean led the way, 24 points. Musa, 23, 8 rebounds. It was kind of a blowout in the first half for this game. I think it was nearing almost 40 points. It was 30, if not 40. A1 was doing what they do best, and that's just running the floor, making the other team get tired. But it kind of wore out there in the third quarter. I think it was a 30-13 quarter there for A1, the squad having 30. Definitely got tired out making sloppy plays. Maybe got a little too comfortable with that cushion of a lead. But that fourth quarter came around. We got guys like Hendel and Darwin that aren't going to let a lead like that slip. And yeah, defensively, it's a hard thing to do is score on A1. So, even when we got smaller guys out there, you can't get a pass off, it seems sometimes. And when we got, Chana, first game in the Legacy Leagues, played great. Him in the paint is definitely going to be a presence all season. Yeah, it's looking rough out there for the squad, but they did have a good run. Shout at them. They're still looking for their first win, though. They're 0-3. I think they personally played 3 of the toughest teams to play so far. So, Jack, I'll go to you. Talk about A1. Talk about what they did right. We have no Dante for the season, Achilles as well. So, talk about how we kind of bounced back from losing a main guy like Dante.
Well, I'm really impressed with how A1's played without Dante this season, specifically their energy. The other night, I was watching Hendel specifically on defense, 6 steals and 2 blocks, in addition to the 37 points on offense. And just all around energy. He was screaming he wants to be first team all defense after almost every steal or block or deflection. And it was just really inspiring to see. And I didn't have A1 as my pick initially, but I think they're my pick to win the championship this year now. Just the energy all around. And back to the Hendel performance, he was 14 for 18 from the field. So not only did he dominate, but he did it efficiently. And Darwin, 27 points, 11 for 19. He hit 3 threes. He was lighting it up as well, and I just think there's a lot to be excited about.
And yeah, I mean, honestly, Darwin's been quiet this season from 3, and when he gets going, dude, it's so unfair watching him shoot. Like, he'll be so far behind the line pulling up, and he makes it look easy. He makes it look like he's been shooting on 8.5-foot rims his entire existence. But yeah, A1 doing what they did best. We had Dante there. He was our coach this week. Honestly, he's a great coach, dude. He brings the energy. Even when he stood on crutches the entire game, bro. That is dedication. That is complete dedication to this team, and I love it. And the guys see him out there. We're playing for him this season, so yeah, we wanted to make him happy, and that's what we did. But yeah, DJ, talk about the squad. Maybe talk about what they've been struggling with. What are they gonna have to do to kind of get their first win? 0-3 start, but I think they're playing 3 of the best teams. So talk about it.
Yeah, they've had a pretty tough schedule so far. I'd give them that, but going 1 for 12 on threes, it's just not going to cut it when the other team's making 11. That's really where they're falling apart. I see just some shot selection sometimes, just not hitting the threes. They got scores like 24, 23, 18, 11 from their four guys. That's pretty good, but if you're not hitting those threes and the other team is, then you're really just going to start falling behind, which is what happened at the end of that game.
Yeah, I mean, live and die by the three. A1's been living for a while from this 3 point. So, and just running the floor. That's their game, and there's no way to really combat that besides running with them. And a lot of these teams aren't going to be able to keep up with Hendel and Darwin. Um, you know, it's just what A1's been doing since last season. These guys got to go back and watch last season's performances because it's just the same old A1, and it's going to continue to be that. And I'm looking forward to the rest of our season. So, yeah, that wraps up that game. We'll move on to our last FTG versus Top Dogs. FTG took this one 101 to 69. Zach Pinnercre, yeah, I'll just go with Zach. I'm not going to butcher anyone's name. I'm sorry. 36 points leading the way. He was throwing down crazy dunks. He was just having fun out there. You'll see at least one of them in the top plays of the week, and it's crazy. So stay tuned for that if it's not out by then. Denzel Lyles followed up 24 points, 15 rebounds. Ethan Austin triple-double alert, 19 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists. And Shane Perico, 18 points. And I think, shout out my boy Trent. I think he had 4 points. But, post host of this podcast with us, so we got to give him a little shout out. He's looking better out there. That first game he was pretty tired, but he stayed out there a good amount of this game. So shout out Trent. Top dogs, we got Jared Hansen. He's looking like the leading scorer on this guy every night, or on this team every night. 31 points. Nick Bokelman, my boy, 15 points, 5 for 10 from three. I feel like he's got to be shooting more, man. You're shooting 50%, and top dogs need more scoring. Just get Boke the ball, see what he does with it. Top dogs 0-3 start. They only had, I think, 5 guys this game. They're gonna definitely need to make adjustments, but I'll go back to DJ for this one. Talk about like how they get their first win. We'll compare them to, like, say they play a team like the Squad. Both teams haven't won yet. What do the top dogs do to beat a team like the Squad? Maybe go about that way.
Yeah, top dogs might have to hit the panic button soon. They just gotta come together, really figure out what they're missing right now. You got, like you said, you got Nick shooting 50% from three, hitting 5 of them. That's a good start. Jared Hansen consistently putting up high 20s, low 30s points. They just got to figure out how to get more scoring chances, or more scoring in general around the team, rather than leaning on those two guys to hit those shots. It needs some more like role, like people to fill in, like some Derek White type stuff. You know what I mean? Some guys that you can depend on without them being the top priorities, the top options.
Yeah, I mean, Derek White brings so much on defense, and I think defense is also something they gotta look at. I think this is the second 100-point game against them this season. They definitely need to find a way to keep some of these players contained. I mean, Zach looked unguardable out there. He was just running the floor, and anytime he jumped, it was going in, man. He was above the rim half the game, I swear. Yeah, it just didn't look like they had a paint presence. Um, you know, I know I played with Kyle. Kyle's also my boy. He was top 5 in blocks last season, so get him down low, maybe run a zone, have Kyle down there, just have him jumping at everything. Your own 3, so what you get dunked on, so what there's a highlight on Instagram, just jump at everything, man. You guys just got to lock in defensively. And I mean, this game, I think they were up 1 point going into half, or it was within 1 point. And I don't know if it was fatigue or just it was probably fatigue, honestly. Yeah, FTG just was running the floor in that fourth quarter. By the time the fourth quarter came, they had a little bit of a lead, and it just grew in that fourth. And the threes just stopped falling. I think Top Dog started off like I think 5 for 7 from three right off the rip, and it just did not transition well into that second half. But FTG getting their win here. Jack, talk about that. How do they transition into up and coming weeks? How do they continue this? Zach scoring 36, Ethan Austin triple double. Talk about that.
I mean, I I thought they did a great job on the glass all night against Top Dogs. They out rebounded them 47-22 and got 30 offensive rebounds. And I know Top Dogs a little small compared to the rest of the league, so not going to expect this every night, obviously from FTG, but something to build off of is just go after every rebound and play good defense like they did, and rely on Pinckney. He had a great game, and I think they have a chance to make some noise this year.
And again, they had two very tough first week games, but it's looking good for them. I mean, they played very well. This chemistry is definitely, when you have a blowout game like this, that's how you build your chemistry. When you're all having fun out there, throwing alley-oops, chucking the ball halfway down the court like Ethan Austin does, that's what you get. That's how you build your chemistry and kind of grow as a team. But not saying you don't grow when you lose, because, every loss, you learn something. So Top Dog's also growing when they lose. So uh, every team's going to grow this season. So everyone's going to have to find out what's working for them, find out what's not, and make adjustments, and we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. But yeah, Ethan Austin, we talk about how he averaged almost 40. If he did, I think he might have averaged 40 last summer. He's showing he doesn't really need to do that anymore. He's getting 19 points, a 19-point triple double. So he's doing everything out there, and that's leading to these blowout wins. If he can continue every night getting 10 plus assists, getting these, Zach alley-oops, letting Denzel do what he does on offense, relying on him more on like rebounding and maybe defending low. I know Ethan runs the floor a lot, so if Ethan's not running the floor, scoring 40 points every night, he's also doing everything else, getting those rebounds down low, assisting when the ball gets given to him. So yeah, this is definitely an Ethan Austin-led team. He has the most experience with this game, and I know he has experience with playing with all these guys, and they are all coming together from him. So this is Ethan Austin's team, and the triple-double is a very good way to lead your guys. And, asking him to average triple-double is not out of Ethan Austin's realm, but it's definitely something hard to do. If he does that, though, I can't see them, falling behind in this league. Yeah, that'll wrap it up for these games this week. We'll go into our final thing, and we're going to talk about our favorite player to watch so far. But this is the segment where we talk about the 110 Grill one more time. Shout out 110 Grill, as DJ said last week. Favorite player to watch. My favorite thing to eat you like that? That was a good one. My favorite thing to eat at 110 Grill is honestly the chicken sandwich with the pretzel bun. It's not a common thing, but when you get a pretzel bun grilled, maybe some butter, oh my God, it's so good. Check them out as always if you haven't. Every team's got to have a post-victory celebration at 110 Grill. Get some drinks, get some food. Yeah. So our question this week is favorite player to watch. If you got multiple, go for it. DJ, we'll go to you first. Name your favorite guy or a couple of them.
Yeah, it's got to be Hendel on A1. Like, he's just an absolute force. Just watching him, he's just unstoppable. Like, from three in the paint, it's just he's a complete player, and it's just amazing to watch him.
Jack, give me something.
For me, it's probably Yala Smith. Just he's really tough to guard in the post. He gets it. He's dunking it every single time, and it's also impossible to just score on him if he's in the rim, if he's at the rim. And I just think he makes Reapers that much better. I know they lost this week, but I just really like what he brings to the game.
All right, neither of you guys said me or Joey, so that's not great. Um, yeah, I love watching both those guys. Obviously Hendel's on my team, so I'm out there playing with him, so it's fun to play with him too. Um, I love watching everyone on A1, obviously, and my boys Bogue and Kyle on Top Dogs. You know, I love seeing my friends do good, have fun out there. Um, I think Jack, we went with you. I know you said Reapers was your championship team. I think you should stick with them. Don't hop on A1 yet. You stay with the Reapers for now. They don't want you switching up, so stay with it, Reapers. They've done me well in the past for me predicting them to win early on. So they've done me well. So I don't think DJ you were on that one. That was the first week, I think. So I want to hear what you have to say. What team do you think is winning it all?
I think it's going to be Team ASAP. If they're consistently just knocking down threes, just running away with every game, I don't think anyone's really going to beat them. I think they're just going to overpower every team, kind of like how the 2023 Celtics were. I think they're just going to be. I think they're a force. I think they're going to take it all.
Yeah, good team. Good team to look at. I mean, definitely one of the favorites there. Um, not a hot take, I would say. But don't worry, I'm not making you predict like top dogs to win it all right now. So, uh, but if they were and you were the one who predicted it week 3, that would go down in history as the craziest prediction ever. Speaking about predictions, let's just go into next week, and I'm gonna have both of you pick each game. So we're just gonna go with it. Maybe the players are gonna see you before the games and be like, "Oh yeah, watch this. You doubted us." All right. Reapers B2A. Jack, go for it. Who's winning that game?
I got Reapers coming off a loss. They're going to be fired up. They're the better team. I think that one's easy for me.
DJ?
Yeah, same thing with me. I think Reapers are going to take that one.
Um, I mean, I think it'll be close. If the Reapers have a full team, Reapers. If they only have 4 or 5, I go B2A. Honestly, I know they don't have Daraj, but some of these guys are going to step up for B2A. That's just what they do. We always talk about how they have all these options, and you know, when a player gets injured like this, and you have those options, it's going to show, and guys are going to step up. So I'll just, I'll let you guys predict it, but yeah, I'm not gonna get involved with this. Actually, I'll get involved with this next one. A1 versus top dogs. DJ?
Yeah, sorry to the top dogs, but A1's a championship standout, so I think they're going to take that one pretty easily.
I didn't make you pick top dogs for the championship, but you could have picked them one week. Just pick them one week. Give them one
You're right.
chance.
You're right.
Jack, what do you think?
I got the top dogs pulling off the big upset.
Let's go. Let's go. I love
The
that.
threes are going to fall at some point. That's their big strength, and maybe Joe has a big game, and we'll see what happens.
I guess they're called the top dogs, but in this game they're definitely the underdogs, and I love underdog stories, but not when they're playing my team, and it's not gonna happen. A1's got this in the bag. You watch. I love the hope, though. I love that. Everyone loves underdogs. We'll go with that. And then this is honestly a good one. I think it'll be closer than we think. FTG versus Team ASAP. DJ, back to you.
Like I said earlier, if Team ASAP just hits those threes like they have been doing, I think they'll take that one, no problem, really.
Yeah, if the threes aren't hitting, you could just give it to Noah James. He'll just drive and drive and drive. We saw that week 2. We've seen that in Rhode Island. He takes over games. So they've got scapegoats on their team too if they're not hitting the threes very well, but we haven't seen them not hit the three very well. So, yeah. Jack?
Yeah, I think like DJ said, I got Team ASAP. The three balls just elite. I mean, 17 of 34 in their last game, and FTG hasn't really shown us. I know they had a tough schedule in the first two, but they haven't really shown us other than beating the top dogs, who I know I just picked to win, but they haven't really shown us other than that they can beat an elite level team like Team ASAP. And I just think Team ASAP keeps it rolling next game. Noah James has been great so far, and I think they keep it up.
All right, and then the last game is the squad versus Run It Up. Jack, we'll just go right back to you. Switch it up.
Gonna go with the squad, winless. Similar to the top dogs, they need a win. They're gonna want it more. They got a lot to look at. Their three ball is good, and I think that they'll have a big game next week.
No, yeah, I mean, I think they're hungry, and Run It Up was no, they had 2 or 3 upsets last season, so maybe the tables get flipped on them, and we see an upset here from an 0-3 team. Squad also, like I said, had a really rough schedule for these first 3 games. Blame Joey, not me. Don't blame me. But yeah, I think they want this win. If they have a full team show up, it's going to be a lot closer than we think it is. So, DJ.
Yeah, like you said, I think the squad has something to fight for. They're kind of getting into that dangerous territory at 0-3, but they clawed their way back to A1 to make it not a complete blowout. So if they make a few more shots than they made last game, I think that they could take a win this week.
No, I mean, they execute very well on our mistakes, and if they just do that all game with a team like Run Up, you know, we could see a squad upset there. So yeah, yeah, I think that wraps it up this week. We talked a bunch, made our predictions, talked about champions. We'll do that all throughout the season though. So yeah, shout out my boys Jack and DJ. Who else are we shouting out, DJ?
Shout out 110 Grill, as
Yes, sir.
always.
Yes, sir. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll catch you next week.